The intro of this love webinar turned out to be such a powerful state changer that I've included it here as a meditation to take you into love. Hi, glad you're here. I always feel the energy building for these things. And this morning, I was just having this feeling of, I guess you could say just being in love with everything. That causeless bliss. You could call it happy for no reason. And that is the very vibration that I want to invoke for this webinar. Love for no reason. There was a song in the 80s that I just loved by Michael Johnson called Almost Like Being in Love. And if you can look up that song, either on YouTube or get it on iTunes, whatever, and play it a lot this week, sing to it, move to it, groove to it, it invokes that vibration I'm talking about, where you're just feeling love. There's no reason for it. There's no body as an object of it. Gosh, that song now is almost 40 years old, but it still has it. He's saying there's a smile on my face for the whole human race. And the music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing for me. So what he's talking about, most songs are about love in that pop sense, and they're actually about codependent love, like that love comes from somebody else and that somebody's in control of love, and that if you can't get it, you're sad and longing and wishing for it and suffering. And that's the opposite of what we're going to talk about and experience in this webinar. Love is a state of being that you already are. I'll say that again. Love is a state of being that you already are. Now, as with many qualities of ourselves, sometimes we're not in touch with that, or it's covered over with a lot of other things, like fear and doubt and past conditioning and past experience and the vibrations that are still resonating from those experiences. But I'd like to be very clear that love is what you are actually made of, and that love is all around you, it's everywhere, it is you. And that during this series, we're just going to reconnect with that. We're just going to become aware of that reality. So really listen to that song and just get that vibe of what he's expressing there, that in that moment he was overtaken by this feeling of love that just is. It's not about something or somebody. so much that goes on. I've been so aware of this lately. I've realized that my life is less about what happens. You know, great things are happening, which tends to happen when your vibration is high. But I've so become aware that life is not about that. That it's more about this experience of being. The events that happen in life are more like things that are going on this 360-degree screen around me, and they're great. They're wonderful. But life is what happens here in the center, in the core, that's independent of what's going on. The real richness of life is just here. It's just here. And so while this webinar will result in you letting more love in and you being more free to radiate the love that you are, I'd like to start out with real clarity that that's not the biggest prize you can get. That's not the largest possibility that there is. And when you realize this largest possibility that there is for you, all that other stuff will just sort of come as a bonus. But what you'll have is so much bigger than that. Sometimes sometimes it's a fun game to play to go bigger than what you want. Like, let's just go for the whole thing. Let's just go for love that is so big that it's way beyond any human, ordinary, everyday love that we think about. It's the state of being that you can be in, where you are just in love. Now think about that. Normally we think about in love. Okay, that's with something. There's an object. No, I mean when I say in love, I mean you are in it. You are in love. There's no object. You are just in it, bathed by it, cradled by it, surrounded by it. And it's not dependent on anything. Nothing. See, like the love that Scott and I have is more like a sharing of this state that each of us has. It's more like we're both in love. And each of us got there, I think, in a different way. But we're in that, and we're just sharing it with each other. We're not like pulling on each other for something that is desperately needed. That's the old codependent love song. You are my everything. You know, we say things to each other like this is the happiest time of our life, and we are just so blessed to be together and all of that. But what it comes from is this deep place of just being happy. And of coming from a place of need just kills it. That can go along for a while, but then something always happens where that need gets to be too much for somebody, one or the other. Either one thinks I'm not getting enough and goes away, or the other is feeling drained and goes away. So dream for a moment, what would it be like to be in love, living in love, without an object? Sure, there are people out there that spark it for you more than others. Scott sparks love for me. I just look at him, you know, in his dirty work clothes, and I just feel that. But I know that he's not my source of love. He's kind of sparking it in his flavor, in his way. My mom. When I think about her, talk to her, look at my mom, it sparks it, but that love is coming from in here. That love is coming from in here. When I think about my dad who's deceased, that love is coming from in here. So when you are in love, in the state of love all the time, it's easier for people to spark you. And just let that be what it is. And if you're dating, don't even make too big a deal out of it. Just because somebody sparks that in you, you are easily sparked. You could say you're easy. I'm easy. Love is easily sparked for me. So let that happen if you're dating, and don't fixate on somebody as the object of your love until they've pretty well made it super clear that they are into making a relationship happen. Women, let them make the relationship happen. You be magnetic. You be love. You be love. And just because somebody sparks it, that's a start. That's a spark, but it's not a fire. Let them tend the fire. Let the man tend the fire. Or if you are someone who prefers the same gender, just tend that fire equally. But don't do all of it. There are two people there. There are two people there. It was so wonderful this morning, just feeling this feeling build. And I thought, it's always the energy. I thought, oh, wow, this energy building. This is the most powerful thing that can happen in a webinar, is for us all to bask and bathe in this energy that is real. In this day and age, romantic relationship has a pretty heavy burden put on it it's expected to just do everything. Way back, if you would get protection and financial support and be able to have kids, that would pretty much fill the bill. Love, romantic love was sort of a plus. But now we expect our partners to be everything, and it's a lot to ask of a partner to be all that. And it's fortunate when it happens, when a partner can be your best friend and your amazing lover and your financial partner and everything. I mean, that's wonderful when it does happen. And again, it's more likely to happen when you don't need all of that. Isn't it crazy? It's kind of like a bank. They'll only want to loan you money when you don't really, really need it. So be with that you want to be such a full vessel, that you're overflowing. And that overflowing is, delicious and so welcome to someone who's also in that state. So let me real quickly ask everybody now that we have our big energy outcome established and the field of resonance is already lit up. Let's ask everybody who would be super happy to just have this state of being in love. Just tell me who would be happy to have that and just see everything come from that. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, well then that hit something in you that is real. That hit something in you that is real, and you recognized it. You've experienced thinking of love as this back and forth that goes on between people. And sometimes it's going great, sometimes it seems like it's not going so great. And you've experienced how that piecemeal approach is, first of all, a lot of work, a lot of furrowed brows, how do I make this work? And this frees you up. It frees you. I mean, you can still deal with things you need to deal with people. You can still do that. You need to do that. You need to tell somebody when they're overstepping, or you need to tell somebody what you're feeling. Yet, it's not so sticky. It's not so putting this burden over in their lap. You have this burden to be my ideal lover, best friend, mother, father, child, whatever it is. It just takes all that off of them. And at the same time frees you, because you know that you already have it. You were born with it. You're made of it. And all there really is to do is take all of the junk off of it that's hidden it from you. Or I even like the word distracted you from it. It's almost like the whole of pop music was a plot to get you to think that your happiness depended on somebody else, and that your ultimate joy was going to be caused by somebody else. just enjoy this lovely, rich experience for a while. And remember that you can always be in love.